That crime scene was just brutal and evil and just ugly.
Instead of up and down on the bed, she was laying crossways. And at first I thought maybe she was asleep. And then I just started screaming.
Welcome to the True Crime documentary channel. I'm Alice Burton, and in this video I'm going to give an overview of a crime that has kept many investigators busy for 4 decades. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give me a like, and leave a comment about what you think of this crime. After all, it's only your support that helps the channel grow. The horrible story played out on September 4, 1981. When Linda's younger sister, Judy Butler, stopped by the family apartment to ask if she would like to have coffee together. However, there was no response. Butler knocked repeatedly on the front door, but no one answered. She walked around the outside of the apartment and noticed that the window screen on her sister's bedroom window had been removed. She looked inside and was shocked by what she saw. Her sister's body was lying breathlessly on the bed, across from her. Judy expressed her initial shock by saying, "At first I thought she was asleep, but then she just started screaming." An apartment maintenance worker nearby, later identified as John Allen, immediately ran to the scream, horrified by what had happened, and called 911. Police officers called to the scene found Linda wearing a dress with the top and bottom down, and something resembling a wire hanger around her neck. Her underwear and shoes were strewn across the carpet, and she was reportedly bleeding from an intimate area. Detectives, who described the scene as violent, vicious and disgusting, admitted there was no sign of a struggle in the room, but the window was unlocked and the screen door had been removed. Linda's 2 children, Jeffrey, who was 15 at the time, and Timothy, who was just 12, and were found by emergency services personnel sleeping in their beds upstairs, unharmed. Worst of all, as the children were being led out of the apartment, Timothy's youngest son witnessed his mother's crime scene. Timothy caught a glimpse of the heartbreaking sight. Holding back tears, he recalled, "I saw the whole crime scene. I saw my mum's bloody body with a hanger around her neck, and I can still see it to this day." Jeffrey also said, "I would have died that night trying to save my mum, but I didn't hear anything and it's so hard to live with." Linda Slaten, 31, is a single mom raising 2 sons. She recently moved to Lakeland, Florida, from her hometown of Hartselle, Alabama. Her move was due to a recent divorce, and she was determined to make a fresh start. With limited finances, Linda received public assistance. Linda was known for her friendliness and devotion to her children, 15-year-old Jeffrey and 12-year-old Timothy. She was close to a sister named Judy Butler, and they spent a lot of time together, meeting regularly for a cup of coffee on Friday mornings. The family did not own an automobile, so the boys often travelled by bicycle. Timothy had a passion for soccer, where he was coached by soccer coach Joseph Mills, who regularly drove him to and from practice. Linda's parents lived approximately 10 miles away, and they visited each other frequently. The medical examiner determined that the forcible rape was brutal and ruled hand strangulation as the official cause of death. Biological DNA evidence was collected from her remains to confirm this. Forensic investigators conducted an examination of her bedroom, where they found additional evidence as well as a palm print on the windowsill. All of the findings were entered into a national database, but no matches were found. Investigators interviewed anyone who may have known Linda or been even remotely related to her. DNA samples were taken from many people over the years, including family, neighbours, co-workers, and even Linda's ex-husband. Linda's ex-husband, Frank Slaten, has come under intense scrutiny due to the fact that he abused her in the past. However, no coincidence or evidence was found, and the case remained unsolved. With no new leads, the case was eventually closed. Jeffrey said, "All my life I've had a hard time not knowing who it was. Always being scared to death. I was friends with him. Always looking over my shoulder." The boys, who went to live with their grandparents, both tried to move on with their lives. And Timothy continued to show great promise as a soccer player with the support of coach Joseph Clinton Mills. At the time, the 20-year-old, more commonly referred to as Joe, was incredibly supportive of Timothy and continued to offer him drills for practice, honouring a tradition started long before Linda's passing. With pride, Timothy posted a picture of his teammates and coach on his bedroom wall, taken just a month after his tragic death. However, it took nearly 4 decades before the investigation gained publicity, in November 2018, when investigators considered using genetic genealogy. It was this method that allowed investigators to catch Linda Slaten's killer in 2018. Forensic investigators positively matched a DNA profile that was developed from evidence from the 1981 crime through the genetic genealogy of Joseph Clinton Mills, Timothy Slaten's soccer coach. Mills was 20 years old when investigators interviewed him during the initial investigation, but he denied any knowledge of her murder. To confirm the genetic genealogy match, investigators followed Mills, hoping to catch him throwing something in a public trash can. He didn't. So investigators picked up his household trash from the sidewalk before the garbage truck could pick it up. They combed through it until they found a piece of medical tape containing DNA. It was sent to the FDL crime lab. The DNA sample from the medical tape was compared to a 1981 genetic profile. It was found to be a positive match. Investigators arrested Joseph Clinton Mills on December 12. 2018, prosecutors charged him with first-degree murder in connection with the death of Linda Slaten. They also charged Mills with burglary and sexual battery. Under questioning, Mills initially stated that he knew virtually nothing about her death, then changed his story. He stated that Linda had invited him to a home to have consensual rough sex. When he showed up, she already had a wire clothes hanger around her neck. Investigators immediately said it was a lie, and prosecutors proved his story false based on previously discovered evidence. Detectives offered what they believed was the course of events. On September 3, 1981, Joseph Mills drove Timothy home from soccer practice. Later that evening, Jeffrey went to his grandparents' house and Linda went with Timothy to a neighbourhood party. Detectives believe that while they were gone, Mills entered the house undetected through Linda's bedroom window and hid in her closet, waiting for the family to arrive. Linda and Timothy were the first to arrive. Timothy went to bed while Linda cleaned the house. She was washing dishes when Jeffrey came home. He went to bed. When Linda was done, she went into her bedroom and that's when Mills attacked. They believe the clothes rack was taken from her bedroom closet. He beat her severely and then strangled her to death. After Slaten's death, her son moved in with her parents. During this time, Mills continued to drive to and from soccer practice. He often asked about the latest developments in the case. There was never anything to give. On February 9, 2022, Joseph Clinton Mills, 61, pleaded guilty to the rape and murder of Linda Slaten. He received 4 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Under Florida law, the guilty plea allowed him to avoid the death penalty. Mills is currently serving his life sentence at the Union County Medical Reception Center in Union County, Florida. Jeffrey and Timothy Slaten were raised by their maternal grandparents. After the death of their mother, both men stated that it was a loving family. They both said it was hard for them to look over their shoulder, wondering if the killer would come back for them. One detail that made a lasting impact was that for years Timothy had a vacation photo of his soccer team. His coach, Joseph Mills, was captured in the picture that hung on Timothy's bedroom wall.